This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Friday, March 18th, the end of the March break. Some 48 hours remain in winter. First day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. First day of autumn down in Australia. Good morning, down under. Or is it good night down under down there? Regardless. Charity off today. She'll be back in on Monday. Coming up. Do you have a friend, or are you part of like a little pact of friends that should something happen to one of you, you're going to look after their social media sites and have like a special word that you would know they were trying to contact you from beyond? It's not as morbid as it sounds, although it sounds pretty morbid, because these things are popping up on social media. We're talking about the checklist that's part of that. And if you're working and putting in a little bit more hours because of the March break and other people are gone, do you feel that you're being appreciated for what you do? There's a really heartbreaking study out this morning on how many people go to work literally every day feeling completely unappreciated. But first, talk about not being valued. Thanks a lot, Kentucky Wildcats. They were the one that basically clobbered the NCAA March Madness brackets yesterday. Yes, there were some upsets ahead of that, but anybody that survived those didn't see St. Peter's coming. Here's what happened. Roughly 70 million brackets were filled out in North America yesterday, and the NCAA keeps track, sort of, in a way, of all of them. So if we just say a round number of about 70 million, when you woke up this morning, only 192 perfect brackets remain. Of 70 million, 192. 161 of them are on ESPN's website. 14 of them are on Yahoo. 9 of them on CBS. Here's how it went. Game 1, Michigan knocks off Colorado State, the 11th seed over the 6th. Wasn't the biggest upset because Michigan was kind of favored, but that knocked out nearly half of all brackets. And again, you don't expect to win it. I get it. Like, nobody expects to go completely undefeated. To me, Bracket Busters isn't the one that, okay, I lost, so now it's not going to be perfect. It's the one that basically says you can't win your pool. That's the real Bracket Buster. So Michigan or Colorado State, probably come Championship Monday, isn't going to really make a big difference when you get down to who's going to win your pool. Then Providence knocks off number 13 South Dakota State in Game 2. Jackrabbits were the third most popular upset pick of the first round. So that hurt a number of people. But then, number 12 Richmond over number 5 Iowa. Only 9% of brackets had the Spiders winning in the first round. So after that game, which was 3 or 4 games into the entire tournament, 3 or 4 games in of 63 games, less than 2% of brackets remained perfect after those 4 games. That's it. By the time New Mexico State upset number 5 University of Connecticut, less than 0.3% of all brackets remained perfect. And then here comes number 15 St. Peter's overtime stunner over number 2 Kentucky. And get a load of this. A higher percentage of brackets had Kentucky winning the entire national championship, 6%, than had St. Peter's winning in the first round yesterday, 3%. More people had Kentucky winning everything than had St. Peter's winning yesterday. And now we have 192 out of 70 million brackets went 16 out of 16. And in fact, the number 15 seed St. Peter's Peacocks celebrated the win, having their website crash. So many people said, who are these guys? Where are they from? That their website crashed. And then they immediately went on Twitter and asked for verification of their site. If you don't mind, we think, everybody's trying to follow us, make it a big deal. So they did. And UMBC, the squad that knocked off number 1 seed Virginia that we talked about back in 2018, immediately sent out the congratulatory tweet saying, "Welcome to the big upset club, St. Peter's Peacocks, knocking off Kentucky." 16 more games go today. I've got Duke winning it all, but as I mentioned in yesterday's podcast, and now it'll live forever, I had Iowa going all the way to the championship and losing to Duke. So as much as I hit 11 of 16 yesterday, my path to winning is really narrow. So hopefully your brackets are okay. But as I mentioned to Jimmy Hollywood off air this morning, the only thing yesterday didn't have, it had big upsets. It had tremendous thrashings. Tennessee and North Carolina looked amazing. The only thing we didn't get yesterday was a buzzer beater. Team down by 1, calls timeout, 3.5 seconds, 2 quick passes, bombs something up, and it goes in. We didn't get one of those yesterday. I can almost guarantee you we have to get a buzzer beater today. But to those 192 brackets, nice work calling Richmond and St. Peter's. Pretty ballsy. Nice work on that. Also this morning on the show, we talked about this new phenomenon that's showing up on social media where, and normally it's just 2 friends, maybe there's 2 or 3, where in the event that something should happen to one of you, the other has to look after their digital footprint. So here's the checklist of what must happen in the event, and very unlikely, that one of you dies. And the first thing is clear my browser history. Get to my laptop, get to my computer, clear my browsing history. I don't want anybody to know what I was looking up, and I want you to look after that for me. I want you to keep posting to my social media as if that's me in the coffin. Weird, right? But if you were like standing in the receiving line or you were at the funeral home and you had your phone and you get notifications when there's a Facebook update of a friend and it was the person you're there to see going, wow, I can't believe all these friends came to my visitation. Weird, but this is showing up. You got a friend that has to do that on your behalf. You have to create and remember a secret word that will let you know if a psychic you're talking to is real or if you are trying to indeed contact me from the great beyond. The movie Ghost kind of created that with Ditto. Remember, Patrick Swayze couldn't say I love you to Demi Moore, so she would say I love you and he would say Ditto. And then when Whoopi Goldberg got involved as the medium in between, he said, tell her I love her. And she said, Sam would never say that. And he said, say ditto. And Whoopi Goldberg says, ditto. What do you mean ditto? What does that mean? And that's what told. Okay, so that's where that comes from. What's the secret word that if you suddenly heard it for no reason would indicate that your friend is looking after you? So you need to create that. If it's for women particularly, tell that one guy, and you'll know which one if your friend's that one guy, right? Tell him I never liked him. Go up to him and say, by the way, she's gone and she never liked you. Really, stick it in there hard. And finally, remember me. That's the 5th thing. Always remember me as friends. So isn't that something? Image is kind of funny and a lot of memes came out of it. But one Facebook user said that she does indeed have a secret word with her friend, but she found after her friend passed away that it wasn't needed. She said, I just feel like she's not gone. I feel like because we created this connection, that it remains and that she's there and that she'll never stop being my best friend. So if you don't have a friend like that, get it. I had a buddy of mine, whatever you do, put a drill through my laptop. Just don't want to do that. And finally, if you're at work today, good for you, because a third of people said they're going to phone in sick today if they couldn't get an actual day off, like legit. Because it's the end of the March break. So they wanted that one day with the kids and the family to enjoy March break. And it's March Madness. So if they couldn't take yesterday off, they definitely wanted to take today off for the 16 games. So you might be working a little bit harder. And hopefully people appreciate it, right? But a survey out this morning revealed that 63% of workers said that they feel unappreciated by their employer on a daily basis. Now, that would be something if 2/3 of employees said that overall they don't feel appreciated. Or when I do a big project, boy, I sure wish they'd say thank you. But to say that 2/3 feel it daily, that when 5 o'clock rolls around, 2/3 of us say we just spent 8 hours feeling unappreciated, is an enormous number. And we are in the midst of a time known as the Great Resignation, that after the pandemic, number of people got laid off and they said, okay, we're going to take you back to work. And they said, no, I don't want to. Everybody said, oh, well, you're going to stay home because of CERB. No, I'm going to go find a job where I get paid more money and feel appreciated. 2/3 of people say they don't. Survey also showed that 65% of us believe that we would likely stay at a job if our boss doesn't appreciate us, but our coworkers do. So, man or woman at the top doesn't get it, but the people in the trenches with me understand what I do and appreciate it, and that is good enough. 59% of people, this is the one that shocked me, say that they have never, ever had a boss who truly appreciates their work. They've gone through their entire career, their entire work life, and never had a good boss. And that's really too bad, because like a great teacher, a great boss, even if that's not where you work now, memories of them and what they would tell you in your head if you were in a situation can get you through bad days at work, can get you through rough patches when you're looking for work, right? That great teacher, that great boss, mentors, even if you can't reach out to them. So to have never had one, it's like never having had that one great teacher is such a loss when you're working. And finally, 1 in 3, almost 29% claim that they would be willing to go to a different job for less pay, up to a week's worth of pay less, to go to work somewhere where they felt appreciated by their employer. So if you are a business owner struggling to find workers, and you're, setting up online or want ads, however you do it, and you're the type that appreciates a worker, it's well worth putting it in the job search description that looking for people, you're going to come here, you're going to get benefits, you're going to get a good competitive wage, and you're going to feel appreciated. And watch the resumes roll in, because 2/3 of people that will click on that don't have that right now at work. Enjoy the rest of your March break. Enjoy spring when it gets here on Sunday. When we get back here on Monday morning, Charity's going to be back. We're going to open up the vaults for Sandra Hussey of Exit Realty and play Beat the Bank. Hand out more money with the phrase that pays with McDowell Independent Grocer and Bay Subaru. Register online at 955hitsfm.ca. And plenty more on Monday, March the 20th, when we get back at it with Mark and Charity Mornings and the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast on 95.5 Hits FM.